Hey Makoto, how are you doing?
I am good. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. You're under considering the circumstances of COVID, I guess.
Yeah. Being healthy?
Keeping it, yeah. I think.
Okay.
How about you?
I am good. Well, yeah, in spite of, such a situation or circumstances, I
Yeah,
am okay.
yeah,
But I feel like things are, you know, like it's coming closer, I believe. Because, say some of my friends in the past, no one close to me
right.
had the COVID, but now like some of my friends got it. So
Oh, really?
yeah. Mm.
You didn't get anything, right, during the whole period?
Um, no, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
How's the situation there, though? Like, is it still lockdown or things are back open? How is it?
well, we have this thing called emergency call.
Hmm.
Well, emergency order maybe. So the government is, you know, restricting or asking people not to go out like unnecessary things,
Yeah,
like go out after 8 o'clock. Restaurants are closed and things like that.
yeah.
But not as strict as many other countries, like not lockdown as such.
Hmm. I see. So, but most of the things are back to open. Schools, work from office is kind of okay.
Yeah. Well, my one. Well, the many work from home thing, like remotely working, but still we're kind of slow. Not that um many people still traveling, commuting, and not traveling as much, but travel to work. I say like
Yeah.
business trips and. Yeah. How's things over there? Are you on lockdown now? Or?
Yeah, it's been this wave of lockdown has been since December. We actually in curfew now also since like a nighttime curfew that from 9 to 4 it's full curfew that
Mm,
don't go out otherwise you'll be fined or something. So let's see if we're keeping fingers crossed when vaccinations get
yeah,
done
yeah.
so we can get over this thing.
Good. Thing is that we started the vaccination thing from this month.
Yeah, I think Japan was very late to get to the party.
Mm,
Yeah. Well, we'll see. There's so much
yeah.
we can do. So let's live life what we can do.
Yeah, that's right. We just have to wait for it, I guess,
Yeah,
for the vaccination and things to get back to normal.
yeah. Whatever competency government shows, I guess. Fair enough. But by the way, thanks for like just taking time. Like I know it's with a time zone also a gap. It's kind of like
Mm,
hard to make it work at the easier. But thanks.
of course.
Uh,
Not a
so
problem.
like I was just trying to remember all the cool people I have met. I'm like, oh, I remember Makoto also from back in 2018. I think that's the first time kind of like you were going through. Um,
Yeah, it
so,
was 2018. Yeah.
yeah, we met on like hosting via
Yeah.
CouchSurfing in Amsterdam, and then so the idea is like just to go through
Mhm.
talk about like lived experience through like your basically life and see how you
Yeah.
understand the thing from there. Uh,
All right.
so why don't we start with like one quick 1 minute summary of how where do you are, where are you from, how have you been, the what are you up to?
Okay, so 1 minute summary of my life.
Yeah. Easy.
Okay, so I am born in Japan and grew up in a city called Chiba, which
Chiba.
is next to Tokyo.
Okay. Is
And
that the one where the
from the Hmm?
popular the movie is from? The Shiba dog? No, that's a different one.
um no, it's a different one.
Hmm.
Shiba, I think you were probably talking about Shiba dog, maybe Shiba. Yeah,
Maybe. Okay. Okay.
yeah. But yeah, well, that's where Tokyo Disneyland is actually.
Yeah.
Even though it says Tokyo, it's not in actually in Tokyo. It's in Chiba.
Yeah.
Hmm. Anyway, it's a nice not too busy, but not too like too small either. and it's close to Tokyo, so it's quite good.
Okay.
Um, and then I moved to New Zealand when I was 15. So I lived in New Zealand for about 12 years, and then back to Japan, lived in a few places like Okinawa, Hokkaido, and went to Portugal for a year, and that's when I met you when I traveled to Amsterdam, and back in Japan now, and now I feel like living life has changed, like working from home.
Yeah.
Never thought I would do that, but I'm keeping myself healthy and yeah, enjoying my life. Went to snowboarding still, like
Yeah.
a couple of days ago, so I'm glad I can still do those things.
Yeah. That's nice that you can still snowboard. That's pretty fun because
I
I
so sorry to you guys being locked down, but
yeah.
yeah,
I'm like, well, but that's very interesting, right? So, you have lived like in like three different countries at this point, right? Like across three different continents, and so,
yeah.
I think we talked probably like a bunch of these things when we met also a little bit. So, in a sense, like, what do you feel like is the essence of growing up in Japan? How do you say it? What it's like to be?
I think to start with, overall, it's a good country.
Mm.
Um, Considering the education, the living standard, and the government support, um, safety, I think it's, by living other countries, I feel New Zealand is quite good. Oh, sorry, Japan is quite good. Sorry. Just give me a sec. Yeah, because, I traveled different countries and some countries, issue with government or poverty, um, even just a living, standard life that's difficult.
Yeah.
And there's no war here, so I think Japan is good.
Hmm. So, well, so if you have, I was trying to figure out like, so if you think of you live in Tokyo now, right?
I live in Chiba, which is
Chiba.
near Tokyo.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, we are back to where I
Okay.
grown up actually.
So you're back to
Yeah,
basically that place, right? So, uh,
yeah.
so I was just wondering, like, what do you think, like, when you, from your life experience, that you feel like what do people value most in their life, basically?
Yeah, life, the value in Japan,
Yeah.
I would say, hmm, well, it's slowly changing, but I think the work, well, having a good education, um, having a good job,
Hmm.
and make family, and living peacefully, that would have been like stable life, I would say.
Hmm.
That would be the high value.
Hmm.
Um, by looking at the history, we had the war and World War II, and then from there, um, many like my dad's generation or even a little bit before that, they worked really hard and bring back the economy.
Hmm.
So um, yeah, education, work are high value.
Hmm.
However, nowadays, we have this technology, smartphone, um, information from all over the world, and those are still start to slow down, like start to change.
Hmm.
But still, even the young ones probably because of the culture or value that we had, uh, the work and education. would be that high value.
Hmm. Gotcha. One thing is like it always surprises me when I see because Japan is both feels like it's very close to nature, like the coexistence of all the kind of natural
Mm.
elements, as well as like
Yeah,
technologically super advanced. It has the highest speed trains, it has the mobile phones and electronics way before that one in the world had. How do you think that like kind of
yeah.
dichotomy happens that it's like very nature oriented as well as super technologically oriented?
I think it really depends on where you live in Japan.
Mm.
Yes, technology-wise, we are good. Um, and the bullet trains and commuting. And if you go out of Tokyo, Tokyo is like, um, you know, just like big cities like New York or Los Angeles or you know, um, main city in Amsterdam probably,
Well, but it's
with lots of
massive.
high buildings and all. Yeah,
But it's massive, right? Like 40 million people in Tokyo. That's
yeah, yeah. So
what
it's really crowded, to be
I
honest.
wonder like
Even
I wonder how it is like because I lived in Mumbai, right, and it has I think 14 million
ah,
people. That's still like
yeah,
one third the size, and that was already like a massive. But probably like a Tokyo is super well organized and structured, so
yeah.
it doesn't feel that way, I suppose. So
Yeah, it is organized. I don't know how they do it, but probably our culture related to it, because we try to be close, but at the same time we keep ourselves like the distance, like privacy wise.
right,
So um, yeah, it is organized well. Of course, there could be a many improvement,
right,
and like, like for the like nature, yeah, that as I was saying that if you go out from Tokyo, um, there are lots of rivers, waterfall, um, mountains and lake and sea. Yeah, although we are surrounded by sea anyway.
right.
So
Interesting.
um, lots of people go out of Tokyo to enjoy the natures
Mm.
because in Tokyo it's super busy and fast. The
Yeah,
life is.
yeah.
So I do enjoy the nature, and just I feel so peaceful. I
Mm.
mean, I think that's what the people go out for nature anyway. Yeah.
Right. It's always a little bit funny. So my girlfriend is half Japanese, half Dutch. So
All right.
right. So her dad is from Japan, and
Mm-hmm.
mom is from here. So she went also. They are from. Her parents are from this place called Yoda. I don't know if you know. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's in I
Is
think
it a city in Tokyo?
no,
Yoda?
not in Tokyo. It's close to Hiroshima, I think, somewhere.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Called Yoda. It's a small town apparently in there.
Mhm.
So she also lived there for 1 year when she was like 18 or 19, and then she just
Mm.
went around and she really likes Japan. So it's like top of to do list to
Yeah. Yeah.
around different places. So and it's like the one thing she always mentions that it's like such a well functioning thing that in the platform on stations there's exactly this is spot train will come exactly at this minute at this time.
Mm.
So it works really well. Um, so there's this probably massive level of coordination and structure that's kind of like underlying everything, which is kind of like pretty nice to have, I guess.
Mm. Um. Yeah. Surprisingly, even if you go on train, that it tells you if you want to go next destination, like maybe you need to transfer one train to another, but it tells you which which cart you need to be,
Mhm.
so that it's gonna the exit out from one train to the other.
Right.
It's like they tell you the closest way
Yeah.
or shortest distance.
Yeah.
And yes, they're very punctual.
Mhm.
Well, I think Japanese one of their strengths,
Yeah.
I'll say, is being on time.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good thing
So
to have.
yeah.
That's something I had to learn also probably
Oh
because
yeah,
we
you
had.
are on time today.
I'm,
No.
I'm generally on time, but we have this thing called Indian time zone. So
Mm, mm.
it's a very the more important you are, you have more the freedom to take your time to get to something. So that's something we should work on.
Talking about Indian time, like it's funny because um okay, so Tokyo people most punctual, I believe.
Right.
But if you go place like Okinawa, which is the most south
Mm.
and warmest place in Japan, like really beautiful place for you know s- um, diving and snorkeling and all that water marine sports.
Right.
However, they are more relaxed.
Right.
So they have the Okinawa time, which is they tell you, like, okay, let's meet at 8 o'clock.
Mm.
Maybe that's when they leave the house.
Right.
Kind of those. So yeah, if I go and like, oh hey, we are meeting at 8, so I'll be at the place at 8 and
Right.
call the Okinawa guy. Maybe he say, oh, I'll be there by a minute or maybe 20 minutes.
Right.
Because yeah, geographically, even within Japan,
Right.
food wise or culture are different.
Mm. Fair enough. One thing that always also comes in that it feels like that's a common thing that as you go from Asia is very kind of like a hierarchical society that people are very like
Mm.
structured that okay, who is position is who, and that way. Do you think that kind of like plays into this, that from your experience that that's actually kind of true?
Yeah, we do have, we do have, yes, we do pay respect to elder people
Yeah.
and hierarchy, especially um, the good example would be an organization like a company, and you start with bottom,
Mm.
and doesn't matter how good you are, but the age counts. So if one person working, 20 or 25 years in one company, the skills or, well, the person must have the experience. But if someone who is 15, working 15 years, that's 10 years, but he wouldn't be able to get where the, 25 years guy there. Um, so that's one of the, well, hierarchy thing, the length and that how old the person is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, sorry, it might not be really the answer that you were
No,
expecting,
no,
but yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah. So, but is it? I was really surprised that one of the friends who posted some time back that he was in Japan and they have this elders appreciation holiday kind of thing. I think I don't know
Ah,
exactly
yes, yeah,
that it's a public holiday to just do that.
yeah, yeah.
So I was
Yes, we have this call. Well, I can send you a word or the um information about it, but we have thing called Keiro no Hi,
yeah,
which is basically the public holiday for respecting elder
yeah,
people.
yeah. That's really
So,
like yeah, interesting that it's kind of like that thing. Because I'm also researching a lot of things about the startups and something that how the other things work. So the idea of that is a new person or new corporation can innovate in a very different way than existing one because they have all these set up things. So doing new things is hard, but seems like a counterintuitive for Japan case that. There the new things happen from these big organizations where they still have the massive structure and everything, and the way it works they can innovate at that way in because probably they can align everyone to do something and it goes through that structured process. So that still seems to work apparently.
mm, yeah, it does work. Yeah, we do have many good public holiday.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, the name could be interesting. Some of them. We have like Mountain Day.
oh
We
really?
have we have Children Day, uh, Open Sea Day.
Uh-huh.
That's yeah, and elder people, respect others. Yeah, so we do have a. Today is actually Emperor's birthday, so it's a public holiday today.
Is there still an empire because you do have a prime minister, right? Right. How did it
Yeah.
work?
So Emperor is basically well, it is a symbol, so does not have much power. In the past, Emperor was like a king,
Mm-hmm.
but well, it is Emperor. However, now it is a symbol, and prime minister is the one who like citizens, well, nations, elect to be the man who basically has the control over Japan, like all the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Although we have to vote
Mm-hmm.
and representative. He's the representative of Japan. So emperor stays and inherit next person. So it will continue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but prime minister is the one who represents Japan. Yeah,
How how
to other countries. I would say. Yeah.
how long is the election cycle? Is it 4 years, 5 years?
Um, it's I think it was 3 or 4, but
Mm.
recently it's the prime minister were not doing well before Mr. Abe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
Abe was quite long actually,
Yeah.
uh, because of his wellness.
Mm.
Recently, he resigned from prime minister position,
Yeah.
and a new guy came. But before that, um, before those period of prime minister time, before the election, um, because nations thought that the person were not so good before Mr. Abe, um, within like every 6 months, the prime minister was keep changing Japan in
Mm-hmm.
one time. Um,
And where's the palace, by the way? Is it near Tokyo somewhere? The emperor.
ah, yes, it's actually near Tokyo. Well, it's in Tokyo Station,
Mhm.
front of Tokyo Station. There's a palace,
Yeah.
and that's where. So there are few times, like maybe one or two times a year that we can go inside
Mm.
and get close to the emperor where emperor lives. But yeah, we normally look from outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So one thing is, I was just thinking. You said like education is a big thing for people, right? That's kind of like
Mm.
important. And one thing also like seems like hard work is kind of like I really appreciate that people really appreciate that you put in the work and you actually do the thing heads down. Is that something kind of like true?
Yeah, it is. Well, yes, hardworking. Of course, you can spend many hours and not get much.
Right.
Sometimes those things can happen, but um, yeah, if for example, if you work at the company, we have lots of overtime hours of work.
Right.
So, for example, if you start at 9 o'clock and the finishing time finishing time would be 6 o'clock.
Okay.
However, you could easily work to maybe 8 o'clock, sometimes maybe 10 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah. Um, and the more you stay, um, well, even back in like only 15 or 20 years ago, that was good sign. And now things are changing, so we try to, not to do much overtime and more towards the achievement rather than just working long hours. Things are changing, but um, the culture-wise, still dragging this hard work. In other words, like working many hours,
Yeah.
and that goes to um, uh, the school-wise as well. So we do have, children maybe after school they have like tutoring or things like that. Yeah.
Okay. W- One thing of others flip side is that I also noticed that there's a extreme hard work, but there's also extreme like a party people, or there's a like extreme hobbies. There's a huge nightlife. The I
Mm,
was looking at like it's like a big cosplay culture probably, and there's
yeah. Yeah.
big like like that like a cute or funny or goofy culture, but also
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like extreme like because I was finding out and apparently the world's largest orgy that's in Japan, uh, uh,
Yeah.
like as a record. So I was like, it's kind of like a again two dichotomies kind of thing. That there's one like this very structured thing. Do you think it's kind of like a release from that generally? That okay, because there's so much, then we have to find this valve where we go and release everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so because of um such a huge stress.
Right.
And yeah, well, one thing is like drinking culture.
Right.
Even though, you know, I mean, like if you go Australia or Belgium, or I'm sure they drink more, but um, we do have inside in spite of being thought, they're very passive and quiet people or friendly. Uh, yes, drinking is a big culture,
Yeah.
and yes, many people go crazy about it, and also releasing stress like cosplay or people, some hobbies that probably Western people hard
Right.
to believe.
Right.
Um, it's quite unique.
Like what will be your that you have seen is as it was like a super unique hobbies.
Unique hobbies. Yeah. Well, it is going towards Western or many other countries, but I think anime is one of the big culture in Japan.
Right.
So, and that's not only for children,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nowadays more for adults too.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of
And
anime myself. Like I never
yeah,
read the manga, but I really like the ton of animes.
and there are things like you know, um, Maid Cafe. I'm not sure if you heard it.
Cat cafes.
Cafes, but
Yeah. Yeah.
we have a maid.
Ah, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So those things. Yeah, but oh, that's a good question. Unique. Yeah. Well, maybe some kinky stuff that
Yeah.
we we weird because yeah, some of my foreigners friends might say, Japanese people might be interesting, but looking at the anime or those things like manga
Mm-hmm.
and stories that's in it, that's quite weird.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, yeah, in a way, sometimes some of them could be thick ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that could be the reason that Japanese people had to find some way to release their stress. That's why they went to extraordinary way, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose. And there are also like a ton of interesting things that I've like heard of. There's this like a forest. Also, it's a I think it's called, I don't know what the exact name, but it's a suicide forest. Is that like a thing that like a big,
Ah,
it's just like exceptional kind of like thing?
yes, there's yes, Swartside Forest. It's actually in I don't know if I should say word like famous, but well, it is famous. It's actually in Mount Fuji as well,
Okay.
and yes, people go there. Yes, in a couple of years ago, I think American YouTuber or someone
I remember
went
from
there
that.
and
Yeah,
yeah, filmed it. Yeah,
he got canned for that. Like
yeah.
fun out of it. It's like a ridiculous thing.
Um, yeah, and yeah, suicide rates are quite high here in
Yeah.
Japan.
Hmm.
So yeah, um, I think we, like I said, people keep like privacy. So some of them, they do not know how to share their thoughts or they are suffering.
Hmm.
So we could be quite isolated, and because of the stress
Right.
of the society.
Yeah. But like
So that's the sad part. Yeah.
how do you think that goes with you said the is family also like one of the important things for people? Is that like a thing?
Yeah, it's family is important, but
Yeah.
actually I've been to India
Mm.
and I believe they are very families are very close to each other. Even like grandpa, um, son and daughter, and grandchildren, uncle, cousins, and I'm not sure if it's big cities, but like I've seen they live together
Yeah.
or probably close distance.
Yeah, in small cities it's much more common. In big cities much more,
Mm,
smaller groups of units and families now, but
yeah.
that was the norm, that nuclear families with everyone, extended family living together.
We could be when we say family, like mm, it is important, but after maybe age of 20, we go out, like go out, like family house
Also,
and start living. Yeah, and we do not communicate each other much. Well, it's really varied, depends on family, but maybe like once a month if you're living far away, or like other countries like you know Brazilian. I had a friend who, my friend, he was living in Portugal and family is in Brazil. So he calls, I think they talk like every day.
mm-hmm.
And for me, I was living in Portugal and I contact my family like, it could be like a couple of months, once in couple of months or something. So that's, I was called, Japanese people, so cold. So yeah, yeah, it's a different way of showing. That could be one way of expressing
Mm.
the differences.
How does that like also translate to, let's say, relationships or a dating scene generally? Like is how do people meet each other in Japan generally? Is it yeah?
Yep. Um. So we do have quite often, nowadays, especially
Yeah.
like many other countries, I believe we use the apps,
Yeah.
dating apps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. In the past, we had this. Uh, how do I explain that? Well, um, yeah, meet like organize meetups.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I bring three of my friends, male friends,
Right.
right? And then maybe I ask one of my female friends to bring few people.
Mm.
like females,
Yeah.
and then maybe we go out and then we all could be first time meeting, maybe
Mhm.
me and my friend only,
Okay.
like my female friend only, and then you know like hook up kind of thing.
Okay. But so it was like a classical way, through friends, basically in bars or something. That's how people generally meet. Used to classically be.
Yep, clubbing and yeah,
Fair enough. And
but but dating wise, probably it's um in the public we do not like kiss or hug. We don't do much those things like Western cultures, American. Maybe we hold hands in the public, but I think it's just in the public we do not show those um moral way. We don't show those behaviors.
gotcha. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's very like specific to probably Western culture, also like public display of affection. It's
Mm.
not common probably most of Asia also, I think, and it just like comes
Ah, yeah.
kind of that. So, but there is like a kind of like a similar dating scene that translates there also, that people have normal dating scene and before marriage, and when they get together, it's actually the same, because I was trying to just see like from India at least, like classically there was no dating, right? It was
Oh.
mostly
Hmm.
arranged marriage kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's like you set it up and then you marry, and then whatever happens. Now it's kind of like a much more, well, metro cities are different, like probably you also notice it's, but it's now more arranged dates that you set up this thing, but the intention is to find as soon as possible that are you planning to get married, and then
Mm.
so there is no this casual dating that much. So yeah, is that not the scene in Japan probably?
Yes, cultural dating could be one. But thing about Japan is that we have um we have a confession
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm.
So like before, you might go and have lunch or dinner or something, but it's not, even you go, if you go for a few times, it does not mean you guys are in relationship
Right.
unless, well, generally males confess like, hey, I would like to have this more official,
Mm.
show that you like her and tell that you want to be in serious relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel if you go other countries like Europe or somewhere, that you don't do those things,
Right.
and maybe after going out a few times, kind of you guys are figured out, or maybe we are dating
Mm-hmm.
and going into a relationship like boyfriend and girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah, but so like, and this is like could be three occasions, three dinner or lunch or going out would be the magic number.
Mm-hmm.
So if you meet someone
Right.
and hi, like for example, if I meet and oh, maybe this girl is nice, so
Yeah.
maybe I go lunch. My second time could be um, dinner, could be third, could be movies, and by that time, yeah, I mean you can confess in first time, or first time confessing is quite too fast, I
Yeah, a little bit
think.
too
But
fast. Yeah.
yeah, but by the third time, and if you do not confess, then fourth time there might not be a dating anymore.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
three is the magic number. Get to confession.
yeah.
Gotcha. Well,
Because
so
it's like we spend, we use our time to get to know each other, and they use time and money.
mm,
Yeah, so maybe from females' point of view, like, ah, third time there was nothing. Okay, let's figure out. Let's wait for some other ones.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a whole ritual. Okay, gotcha.
Mm.
Uh, So if we turn back a little bit, like go outside. Let's say you lived in like in New Zealand. You lived in
Yeah. I lived in Auckland and Christchurch.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and so you lived there 12 years, and then you lived Portugal also 1 year now, right? So
Mm.
now you have like an outsider view. What do you find like first thing that you were like, I didn't knew this existed? Did you have that moment when you lived outside Japan?
Like, you mean when I lived in like New Zealand or Portugal and came back and I realized something, or
Or in those
you mean?
countries, did you feel like, that's something different that I didn't know from Japan generally?
Um, well, one thing about I feel, yeah, I think Japanese people likes new things
Mm.
and foreign cultures. So we have Christmas, like not like like we okay, let's say celebrate Christmas, even though we are not Christian. We do have we kind of we just make excuse for parties, say like
Mm.
even the Chinese New Year's, maybe supermarket or shopping mall, they have decorate those things. So like even though it's not our New Year's, but um, lots of sales promotion happen, like a Valentine's Day, Halloween, um, and one time I still remember when I went to New Zealand, and I spent Christmas, and I asked my friend um, who's Indian,
Mhm.
and I said, what are you guys doing Christmas? And she was like, um, well, because she lives in New Zealand, maybe we go beach or things like that. And I'm like, your mom or dad gonna provide presents? And she's like, no, we are not Christian. We don't do those things.
Exactly.
And that was surprise to me because like I'm not Christian and that's what I've been doing in Japan. Like I thought everyone else does that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It is a fun
Hey,
festival. I do like it now, but that was true when I was in India too. Yeah.
so yeah, that's when I learned that um okay, so there are many cultures exist and not do everything. Like um yeah, Japanese people, maybe Japan as a culture, maybe they try to do well, good side is that they understand other cultures and just enjoy. Maybe well, understanding might not be the right word. Maybe we just want to enjoy how others are doing.
Yeah, it is kind of like funny, right? So I think basketball and baseball is very popular in Japan, I guess,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like probably adopted a little bit also. And the festivals that you mentioned, it's kind of like a non-religious festival there, I suppose. It's not related to religion at all.
Mm,
It's kind of like a interesting way.
so we do have most people are Shinto or
Oh,
Buddhist.
yeah. What is that? Is that kind of like a practice religion, or it's just what?
Um, Shinto is not well yes. My understanding of Shinto is the way how people live, like the study of how people um, should should live and what they should do for their life. So you can say it is religious and
Mm,
quite similar to Buddhism as well.
okay.
So sometimes I get confused myself, and um, yeah, that is the thing that maybe we don't at school or even at home. Maybe we don't study enough
Mm,
our cultures or our religious.
yeah.
And we do go to temple or Shirin,
Hmm.
which is the place where we visit for Shinto religious people.
Right.
Um, but yeah, we do have um, both religion and but we don't practice much.
Mm. So there's no
Like
ritual,
not
as you say.
not like we don't go to yeah like Christian like every Sunday they go to church and things like that. Unless you are really into it or focus on those religious most people don't do much those things.
I was thinking like every kind of like a religion purpose kind of give people a kind of sense of like a meaning of life or something like that. There's this hip word everywhere pops up these days, finding your ikigai, right? That
Yeah, yeah.
probably comes from Shinto also. What is like a common perception? What's the general idea that either Shinto or general people think that gives them ikigai?
Ikigai would be my understanding of ikigai would be do what you like
Yeah.
without making my family worry or friends, um, give them bad influence. So, but it's this could be different. Some people work is ikigai,
Hmm.
and some people traveling. Um, yeah, that's a huge concept, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as I said, um, enjoying enjoying the moment would be my ikigai.
Yeah.
So like, oh, I feel like I did what I want to do today, and feel like I had a great day and did what I like.
Hmm.
Mm.
What do you think kind of like makes people like helps people do good things? So one of the major things, and I think most of the religions have, they give you a way to lead a good life, right? All the Abrahamic religions like Christianity, Muslim, Jews, they will say like do
Mm.
these things in life and then you'll go to heaven, otherwise you go to hell.
Yeah.
So that keeps people in line, that okay, historically at least, that will give you some commandments and you follow that, that's a good life. So because Shinto, like you don't have a god there, right? Or it's not a scripture, or do you have it?
Um, there is a god, yeah, for Shinto as well.
Yeah.
Um, so Shinto, where you go and even like New Year's, especially many
Yeah.
people go to Shorin and then um, wish for the best for the coming year.
Right.
That could be monetary wise, health wise, um, safety for family, future success.
Yeah.
So that's what we wish to the god.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Buddhism, that's where our ancestors' graveyard, like family graveyards, are there. And what else are there? Hmm. But temple is where the graveyards are, like stones.
Hmm. And so, what generally like gives what nudges people to do good things? Uh, is it
Yeah.
is it not fear of hell that keeps people? Or what is it?
Um, I think it's help others.
Hmm.
That would be read towards good person, like help you to get to heaven.
So there is a heaven concept as well, that you after that what
Yeah.
happens?
After that, oh, that's a good question. Yeah, after that. it's just that, oh, well, I know that if you do bad things, you go to hell and
Okay.
you're punished.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the other religion, I mean, type of Christianity, um, if you go to hell, but
Mm.
there's a gate, still, you're being asked, like, you can still, oh, you can, some way you can go still to heaven.
Right.
But oh, Shinto or Buddhism, I don't know if they give such an option.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there reincarnation also, that you are reborn, or that's another thing?
oh, that's yes, because we have a spirit.
Yeah.
Um, the belief of reborn is there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah. Sorry, I do not know much of those.
Fair
In
enough.
details, I do not know much.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, so because I felt like, when I was talking to, my girlfriend also, that there's a this thing is just not in vocabulary, that it's kind of like a different way of thinking and system. So I'm like, that's interesting.
Mm,
Need to understand that a little bit more. How does it work? So interesting. Turning on a little bit gear. Let's talk about fun things. What's like, so my favorite thing when I travel someplace to eat and drink local food. Uh,
mm.
what will you say? Like, it was kind of like a definitely must do from either your region or generally. What were your top three things?
Top things. Well, like, is that like such as traveling counts? Yeah, like traveling to other places. Like, like your question would be, what do I feel
No, if I go,
fun?
if I go to Japan, what should I eat? What's the best?
Ah, okay.
What's the favorite recommendation?
Oh, well, you can go and well, first of all, sushi. That
Sushi.
would be one option because it's different. If you have a sushi in foreign countries and Japan are different. The how they make is different.
Okay. How so?
And it's like in Japan. Well, in Japan, it's like you have the rice and sushi, like fish on top.
Yeah.
Most of foreigners, you kind of like have a sushi roll.
Right.
Yeah, those ones. Well, we do make those ones, but I will suggest you to go to like sushi with train thing,
Yeah.
so that the sushi will come in front of you.
Oh, that way. Okay.
And
Okay. That's,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And um, talking about food, you can go and Osaka or other places for okonomiyaki. It's like a pancake, but with meats
Hmm.
or other shrimps and all that.
Hmm.
And yeah, yeah. If you are into alcohol,
Hmm.
then you can have like sake, like
Of course.
Japanese sake.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Sake,
yeah,
is sake like a beer? It's more like it's like a beer, right? Or it's a, I think it's a little bit different.
it's different. More sake is like made with rice,
Hmm.
and it's more clear. It's not bubble or anything. So
Hmm.
you can drink with cold or you can drink with hot.
Right.
The name is different, but
Hmm.
and it's quite strong. Some of them like maybe 20, 25% or 30 plus. Like you can say it's like a whiskey thing.
Right. Gotcha.
So don't drink too much fast because you get pain next day.
I need to go get sloshed in the nightclub, so I have to try some lots of sake before that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and yeah, I believe you can enjoy all this technologies and huge buildings, gaming, arcade,
Mhm.
but the there are lots of places you can do hikings, water sports,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, natures that I would offer.
Yeah. What would be your favorite place in Japan that you'll say I should definitely go?
Well, one favorite place is Okinawa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's well, you can say it's a resort island. So and it's pretty chill. It's warm through the year. Well, well, we can get to like 18-degree or something in winter as well, but
That's okay.
generally it's warm. Yeah, and yeah, because I do enjoy marine sports and sea,
Yeah.
and yeah, like pretty chill.
Mm. I did like that place. I was watching this, James May, the Top Gear guy. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
he made like he traveled around Japan and made like a thing also. I think it's on Amazon Prime that going around
Mhm.
Japan. So that was pretty fun. And he also went to this place in South, I think one of the islands, where the people cook in a volcano, like a
Mhm.
volcano kind of ovens.
Yeah, okay.
So you can put things in there. That was like pretty interesting that you can actually
Mm,
use the lava heat to cook food and you
yeah,
get
yeah.
have one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, those things are there. You can have hot pot.
Like that.
Um, and food wise, oh, maybe you can have like noodles if you like those ones.
Mhm.
Yeah, so many. It could be soy sauce style. It could be salty noodles.
Mhm.
It could be miso, which is like, miso soup. It's the same miso they use,
Yeah.
but they use with some noodles.
Okay.
Mm. So yeah, and we have many Indian restaurants or Thai and that's
Oh no, no, we are not.
well, it's
Yeah, we are
but
not
it's
going to
gonna be
Japan to eat Indian food. We are not going to do that.
no, but it could be a different one because like Japanese style, whenever you go to, it's different from original one,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
If the for example, if I go to America and eat sushi, it's different.
Right.
So maybe you found weird or you know to adjust to Japanese Indian curry could be.
I went to one place and they had sashimi. I
Yeah, yeah.
I really liked sashimi, but it was so small. I was so hungry afterwards. Also, I'm like,
Ah, yes, yes.
super expensive, tasty, but very small. So I like I
Yeah.
need more. um, One thing that
Yep.
also I was thinking is like, how do you think? Speaking Japanese basically impacts you. Now you speak also like English and probably some Portuguese also. Did you pick up some Portuguese
Yeah.
also?
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah. What's like a must knows from Japanese? How do you say? What's your favorite word from there?
Favorite words in Japanese.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, it might not be very funny, but um, I like to say arigato,
Arigato.
which means thank you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's showing the gratitude and appreciation. So um, it's it's like I mean thank you, and it simply means thank you, but um, it's better than any other words, I think.
Yeah. I do like one word called sayonara.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
When I was little, there was like this Indian movie, and they had a song. It was just "Sayonara, Sayonara," and
Ah,
it
yeah.
was shot in.
Interesting.
They made a trip to Tokyo or something and made a song there. It just got
Mm-hmm.
stuck in my head, and every time I,
Ah,
every time I remind her, like, that's the word.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you probably hear it often in Japan then.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So
because yeah,
but yeah, but that's a very good question though. Maybe. arigato because maybe I like the meaning of it, but yeah, I should think of which words I do enjoy hearing, like the
Yeah.
sound.
It's like one of those things, right?
Ah.
I was reading something, and there's this stereotype that Asian people are good at maths and science, right? That's a stereotype, but there's some truth to it also. And I was trying to
Mm,
figure out why is that the case, that either it's focus or something that, and they say these languages like Japanese is very symbolic languages, right? So you have
mm.
these symbols, so your mind is basically thinks in languages. So it prepares you for this abstract thinking, abstract reasoning, and a lot of like symbolic notation. So it helps you with those abstract concepts that you have to learn in maths and science. So that might be a little bit correlation there as well. That's why people perform better on those things from Asia compared to other places.
That could be true because when we write, Japanese, we have like three different way.
Right.
We have hiragana, katakana, and kanji.
Yeah.
Uh, so we can write everything in hiragana,
Hmm.
um, but if you do that, you don't look like smart or you have kind of no education. So and also kanji is like a Chinese character,
Okay.
and it's the the orders that we write. We need to learn as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone else look at and maybe they don't, we don't really pay attention to how others write in orders, but man, it's good to know the orders how
Hmm.
we write, you know.
Yeah.
So and we learn by like put one like horizontal line,
Hmm.
second again horizontal line, and third could be vertical. So we've been told like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and every characters you know um has the numbers
Hmm.
how many it should be to complete with. So yeah, I think it's like kind of manner and the orders. Maybe our culture comes to it as well.
Right.
Like yeah, we have to follow the rules,
Right.
the guideline.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Hmm. That's interesting. Um, how many alphabets are there, by the way? Because it's
Um, I think it's 50, yeah, 50, 52 or
okay.
50. Yeah, I
That's
think it was like twice of the English alphabetic, I think.
so then 54 or something there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Interesting because that's but do you also have like a phonetics and something that you can add sounds and stuff to those things and it becomes much more long number of things?
Yeah, yeah. So like those Chinese characters that we write,
Right.
even my name, um, like my name is like Makoto Murohashi, and
Right.
Makoto is with one character, like Chinese character,
Yeah.
but that has about three different way of reading,
Mm-hmm.
and depends on the situation or combination of different Chinese character. We have to know how to read it.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, to be honest, because I learned kanji until age of 15, and
Mm.
there are so many after that as well. So I sometimes struggle to read newspapers actually,
Right.
like Japanese newspapers, because I kind of know what it's saying, but if someone asks me to read it, I'm like, I don't know how to read this one.
Right.
Kind of, yeah.
I see. Oh, which one has like more history? You said like Chinese characters, kanji basically comes from those things. Is it Which one is kind of like a root language, do you think? Is it it came from Japanese, then got transformed into China and then came back, or it's other way around?
It's come from China.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think hiragana or katakana.
Hmm.
So Chinese, Chinese people brought Chinese characters to us, Japan, and with because of the history or yeah, through the time, the character start to change the shape,
Right.
and then from that Chinese character, we created hiragana.
Yeah.
So there's like all the hiragana has the um, Chinese character that's originated from.
Hmm.
So if I go China, I won't be able to speak, but if I read the symbol,
Yeah.
like Chinese writings, I kind of know what it says.
Hmm.
Like if I'm looking for supermarket
Right.
or butchery or fish market, if it's written in Chinese character, I could, figure it out for, what the shops are
Hmm. Okay.
for example, yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. Hmm. Okay. And how do you think, how is the social safety net, by the way? Is it like European countries have like very strong, like kind of social security and stuff? How did it work in Japan generally?
Social security, like you mean government support, welfare, you mean, or
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, it's, yeah, it's good. There are many, benefit that go, or it could be health wise or education wise or even studying new things or low pay people.
Yeah.
Um, the government support.
Hmm.
Uh, we sometimes I feel we don't use enough
Yeah.
those benefits,
Yeah.
and we try to earn money ourselves, and to we are like Japanese is one of the country that saves a lot,
Right.
like into their bank.
Right.
So we keep for after retirement.
Hmm.
So and sometimes I learn like, oh, there are ways like if I do this, maybe I can claim to the government that I need this assistance, and they might give me, but we do not know how it works. So lots of people are missing out, I think.
It's always the case.
But yeah, but if we yeah know that information, then yeah. But yeah, supporting wise, I think one of the best for
Yeah.
security. Like we can have a like medical with I mean, of course we pay taxes, but um whenever we need like get a surgery or things like that, it's cheap.
Do you have like a national healthcare generally there as well? That it's a national
Yeah,
government insures those things?
yeah.
Okay.
So even those, I mean, well, we have two different types of national health insurance.
Mm.
So um, yeah, as long as your parents or yourself works and pay taxes,
Mm.
then you get this card, and you can go if you are not feeling well. You
Right.
can go to the doctor or hospital, and you pay like how much is it? Like 10% or 30% only, I think. Like yeah, I think it was like yeah, huge discounts
Mm.
on those
Gotcha.
medical. Yeah.
And how is it like schools and university? Are they freely available to public, or do most people go to public schools?
Yeah, most people go public school.
Yeah.
We yeah until age of 15, like a primary and a secondary,
Yeah.
basically it's free.
Hmm.
And from high school, of course, you pay. Depends on private or well, there are private primary and secondary as well.
Okay.
But most people goes to public. And yeah, yeah, but through to university, there are public ones.
Hmm.
And depends on what you want to do. Yeah, you probably need to go to private, but yes, costs are you know way more.
Yeah. And
But we have this. Oh,
how
sorry. Go ahead.
how is the pre-university like education set up in? Do you like how many years do you generally go to? And there is a different kind of structures of a school.
Um, yeah, some of them like so primary would be age of 6 to 12. Secondary could be some of them could be 12, some of them 13, but 13 to up to 15, and then 16 to 18 is the high school,
Hmm.
and university would be 4 years.
Yeah.
Yep, and but some of them are like short one, so half one could be like 2 years.
Okay. What do you mean
Yeah.
short? Is it like just different kind of course probably, right?
Yeah, it's different type of course. Yeah.
And for admissions into university, do you have like a national exam, or do you go by your other grades from school or high school or something?
Yeah, it's a national standards test or exam.
Well, what is
But
it? What is that?
sometimes you don't need to take those ones because if you are doing a good grade at um, high school and there is a school that you want to go and you show,
Yeah.
so it's like a we'll say recommendation.
Yeah.
So you might pass it, but you might pass without taking those exams.
Right.
But if you really want to go high up, um, yes, you do need to take those exams.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. We have like gone through a lot of stuff at this point
Yeah.
already. What are you doing these days, Makoto? What do you do in Portugal, by the way? So I remember like you're going for that work holiday for 1 year. How was your experience doing that one?
It was good. Actually, that time I was, age of 30
Right.
and still, well, still, not sure what I want to do, but I do know that I want to travel
Yeah.
and see different countries and cultures, people, and yeah, my journey hasn't finished yet on those parts. I haven't been able to travel much nowadays.
Like all of us,
Uh,
just just doing Zoom calls for now.
yeah. But yeah, it's just that be able to speak with you about Japan and you know, someone who stayed in different countries so that I can look or see that Japan is good
Mhm.
country.
Yeah.
Um, against of you know improvement there could be, but compared to other countries, I think we are fortunate
Yeah.
that you know born in Japan. Um, and yeah, surprisingly, after I stayed, I still remember you. You used to work in Booking.com, yeah,
Right.
yeah, and I am currently working at Booking.com Japan.
Oh, what? What are you working there as?
Well, I'm working at the CSG,
Yeah. What is that?
so it's yeah, I get a call. Well, kind of, it's not busy nowadays. Surprise. Well, you can imagine why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I enjoy and talking to different people from different countries. So yeah, yeah. Luckily, I still have job.
Yeah, that's nice.
Mm.
Did Booking also do like a layoff in Japan also in your office or
Not in Japan,
okay?
luckily, but yeah, huge impact in Europe side and
Yeah,
American
yeah.
offices. Yeah.
Hmm. Fair enough. When you where do you live in Portugal? Did you live in Lisbon or
I lived in Porto.
that's even better.
Yeah, yeah.
Did
It's
you
not
get
as busy as Porto, like Lisbon.
yeah
Not as crowded. Also, yeah, Porto became. I think during the time that I was there, they had just one of the best destination in Europe, a
right?
world kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have a lot of good wine. Probably you must have a lot of
Oh, cannot wait to go visit again. It's a good country. It's peaceful.
Mm,
Um, People are nice, and yeah, food wise, they have a lot of seafood as well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
That's what happening in lockdown. Probably a lot of people from all these cold areas of Europe, from north of Europe and the places, they're basically going to Portugal. They're like just taking a house because Portugal is like 3 times cheaper than let's say Netherlands.
Yeah. Mm,
So
mm,
if you
mm,
are going to work remotely, you can just enjoy much better houses and things in
yeah.
just outside the beach, maybe
Mm.
in Portugal warm. So that's a big thing happening right now. It seems.
Yeah, it's well, I'm quite jealous where you guys are. It is tough. It is tough nowadays, but just like when I was in Portugal, I heard there are lots of Germans, French. Yeah, just like you said, it's cheaper
Yeah,
and you know, food and yeah, wines
yeah.
and safety.
Yeah. So let's see how it goes. Well, what's next for you in 2021?
2021. I am well, like you are doing some podcast and you know you say you want to do startup or something.
Yeah, I'm working on those things with some
Mhm.
people as well, and
Nice. I'm onto those things as well, and yeah, I'm kind of preparing stage. Learning how that those law works in Japan, and as much as I like to go, I will be probably in Japan for a while
yeah,
and focus on what I can do and what I want to do.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, 2021 would be more challenges,
yeah,
but yeah, I guess it's never stop and then you know, um, cutting off my bucket list, I believe.
yeah, yeah. Do you think long term you'd like to stay in Japan, or do you think how do you feel about that?
Well, that's a tough choice actually. One side I want to go a different country and still, you know, like not just visiting but actually living to,
Right.
you know, um, feel how the local people um, live in that country.
Yeah.
But one time, like, one side tells me like, oh, maybe it's time to settle and then find one thing even like for example, within Japan, I moved in different places last 3 years.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, it's yeah. So I don't have a fixed place, and I don't have many like no. If I want to, I could go and start traveling again. when the time comes. But this COVID-19 gave me an opportunity to stop and think
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
No,
yeah. And to be honest, I do not know what I want to do yet. Just live my life like every day and
that's the living in the moment.
yeah,
I think that's the best way to go for now.
yeah, yeah.
How about New Zealand? No Kia Ora for you anymore.
Yes, that is one option as well.
Yeah.
So one way I could do is like maybe I can be a Japanese teacher or learn some programming or technology so that I can be a Japanese teacher. At the same time, maybe I can do a web designer or something.
Mm.
You know, could have a multiple. Yeah, nowadays I don't think we do not need to have one title anymore.
Yeah. 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 That world is gone where you graduate at 22 and you work there till 60, 40 years.
Mm,
That, you change every 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it takes, and then relearn something new so you enjoy it and you are good at it and just keep doing it.
mm.
So we'll see. Fair enough. Uh, super nice to catch up with you. I also Makoto. That was like super fun. And
Yes, yeah, thank you. Thanks for the time as well. That I think even talking to you 1 hour and your question
yeah,
made me think even more about Japan as well.
yeah, pleasure to poke a little bit the questions here. Fair enough. Thanks a lot for taking time. Super fun to understand a little bit more, and just nice to see you. Also, been a while. Maybe we should
Mm,
do this more regularly.
yeah, yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
And when you are coming to Japan with your girlfriend, maybe
yeah.
I'll take you guys around.
Definitely, I'll take you up on that. Same here. Anytime the world is open, when you're on this side of the continent,
All right.
definitely let me know. Cool. All right. Have a good evening, I guess, and catch you later.
Okay. Have a good day to you and sayonara.
Sayonara.